Hi everybody, my name is Sarah, Pearls of Wisdom and Food on Facebook and YouTube. Come join us, subscribe. Well, June, one of the tribe members, private messaged me, and she said, and I love this, of course it's on a post-it because that's my brain, if hunger isn't the problem, then eating isn't the solution. I love that. Not that I ever followed it. If hunger isn't the problem, then eating isn't the solution. And I used to have a friend, and gosh, this is probably 35 years ago, and she said to me, if you can write a check at it, then it's not a problem. There's another truism. So, if hunger isn't the problem, if your stomach's not growling because you haven't eaten for hours and hours, well then, do you love this behind me? This is Freddie playing with my Valentine's Day balloon. A month later, it is still... All right, well, you'll have that for your entertainment. Instead of looking at my craggy old face, you can look at the Freddie and know he's pulling on the ribbon. Anyway, so I like to go until I'm hungry. But sometimes I'm watching the clock. I know that. How about you guys? Or sometimes if you're at a place where, if you work or if you're home or if you have appointments or blah, 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 you have to eat at a certain time because the window will shut down. And I don't mean the window of the drive-through. I mean the window of time. And so sometimes we have to eat because it's that time, and then other times we have to eat because there is no time, and then other times we might be hungry. But if you're not hungry and you're still eating, then welcome to my world. The world of the food addiction, the food addict, the one with the mental hunger that supersedes and trumps anything in my stomach all the time. And so there we are. And how to tame it. Is it tameable? Is it manageable? Yes, it is. And for me, my guide is my tracker. So when I put things into my tracker, then I know that I will be able to eat certain foods at a certain time, and it is very comforting. It's weird, I know, for some people, but I like to know what's coming. And like today, my job is 9.5 hours, or it's just 9 hours. Oh, short one today, just 9. And so I plan my small pleasures for the meal that contains enough fat so I won't be jonesing from 12 to 5. And because I'm taping this on daylight savings time, we've set the clocks ahead, so I can go longer if I'm watching the clock. So when my stomach usually tells me between 9 and 10 it's hungry, the clock will say 11. And if I start eating my pretty big lunch that takes me through to 5, well then I'm covered. It's good. It works, right? So I've been doing my homework this weekend in case any of you wanted to know. I have been reading The Wild Diet by Abel James, and the Savory magazine from Stop and Shop, and The Big Fat Surprise from Nina Teicholz, and just filling myself with, little upgrades in my head, little better ideas, little ways to make things work for me. And I'm trying to stay in a calorie range to deal with those sniggly pounds. If they aren't going to go, they aren't going to go. I'll live, and so just adjusting to everything and making sure that I have tons and tons of veggies, which I always do. Like today, I'm having 2 salads, and then I'm having Brussels sprouts, organic carrots, and organic broccoli. With that, some roasted pork on top of it, 3 ounces. and that'll slow roast in the oven. I mean, the roast is already made, and it'll just heat up in the oven, and all the juices can all just marry. And then a raw veggie salad with chopped stuff in it on the side with 1 tablespoon of EVOO. That's my dinner. My lunch is much more complicated. I've got 3 ounces of salmon. I have another salad. I have 4 ounces of hot Paul Newman salsa. I have some organic yellow pepper strips to dip into the salsa. I have 2 ounces of Fage yogurt with 1 tablespoon of organic peanut butter. And I have a cup of organic chicken soup that I made. And my berries. And that's a nice substantial meal that'll carry me through. And there's nothing that will bloat me in it. Unless I had broccoli for lunch, and I learned that lesson. And nope, there's no unmodified potato starch today either. So, and I will have another cup of coffee for that rejuvenating need that I have around noon or 1 for the next 5 hours. So it's pretty good. But the hunger, if hunger isn't the problem, then eating isn't the solution. And so many times I mistook an emotion for hunger because it's so much easier to cover up anything emotional. Anger, resentment, revenge, sadness, even happy times, right? I used to go out with a group of women, and it's just a food fest. And it would just be food and food and food and food and food and talking and laughing. And and, you know, who knows how many calories were eaten. And then the desserts would come and we'd order, you know, the equivalent of 1 per person and then just kind of pass them around when the bell went off. You know, you'd be working on one and then pass it to somebody else. And it just, so much food and not really savoring it because we were all so busy talking and gossiping and laughing and just having a joyous event. And I have to be careful of those sort of events. And I know that my favorite guy, the magician one, I know that he has a food plan too. And he said he was going to have a book, and he lied. It hasn't come out yet. And so he said that one time, because of all of that sort of thing where you overeat when you're with a group of people, and because I'm not normal. I can't do one of those food events where it, you know, everybody gets together. I would overeat. I know myself. I know how I was in the past. And so this man, just like me, the magician, I can't think of him. He was big and he lost 100 pounds. Anyway, he he went to this dinner having eaten before. And he said it was just an incredible experiment to sit there and just dine on the conversation, and how meaningful that was for him, and how he could really, really, really be present. And if you're a food addict, you know exactly what I'm talking about. I would sit there and just like, you know, can they get the food out to the buffet fast enough? And then once it's there, it's like, you know, there's 3 people ahead of me, and if somebody takes that heel of bread, I'm just going to scream. You know, it had nothing to do with people. It was just about feeding the gullet, just overeating. It was like a free pass. And that certainly had no solution except to not overeat. And because I'm a food addict, I only know overeating at social events or not eating. It's very hard for me to be contained, especially if it's a standing up one. I can't do standing and eating anymore. I learned that 40-something years ago in Overeaters Anonymous. Deadly for me. Buffets are deadly, so is standing and eating up. And I just lost my train of thought with eating out with a group of people. So anyway, he found it was a very fascinating dinner to just be there for the conversation. And I loved that. Oh, and I also am expecting the Dr. Josh Axe, A-X-E, book, Eat Dirt. And I got an email where it said, free book, just send the postage. And I already did that for J.J. Virgin and never got the book, but clearly I'm a slow learner because I sent just the postage. It was $9, but I like having books. You know, I have my Kindle and I have tons of books and magazines in it, but I have to admit, I like having that stack of books over there on the love seat that I can read a chapter, put it down, or jump ahead. And that's what I did yesterday, which was why I feel so full with delicious food information, because I was reading The Wild Diet and I was reading some of his recipes. And as I said before, let me get the book. This is by Abel James, and he was the one that did My Diet is Better Than Yours. And one of the things that I like about it was that he not only puts, you know, the ingredients and the prep day, in case you're not making it that day, say you're prepping ahead, and how long it will store in the fridge, but like what utensils you'll need to cook. Loved it. And he's such a cool guy. So I will be expecting my Eat Dirt one. And I'm definitely looking forward to that. How'd you like the tour of my kitchen? Was that fun? I got to do my basement one too. There is so much food in this house, I can't believe it. Oh my God. So that's my story, Morning Glory. And I know there's something else I want to say, and as soon as I stop taping this, it's going to be like, oh yeah. I have not found the Eat Fat, Get Thin Dr. Hyman PBS special yet, and I have 2 PBS stations, one in Rhode Island and one in Boston, and I've not been able to find it. But I am watching Dr. Kelly Ann, and she's the broth lady, and the title of her show on the PBS station is 21 Days to a Slimmer You. And she is spunky and beautiful and knowledgeable, like J.J. Virgin. You know, it's just great to watch. You just drink in so much, pun intended, with the broth. And I'm about a third of the way through. And I'm also watching Dr. Perlmutter's Brain Maker, which came out after his Grain Maker. And that, too, is a PBS special. And so I'm learning. And you know that the gut is the second brain. And so treat it as it is, and don't insult it with processed foods or garbage or chemicals. And somebody else, and I think I don't want to call her out, but I know who it is. She said that she's just about completed giving up her diet soda, and that was huge for her, is huge for her, and I'm very proud of her because I know that that is huge for a lot of people. And the junk in that, the chemicals that are created to make you want to eat are incredible, and the chemicals that don't do well with female bodies and hormones and all of that sort of stuff. So good for her. Good for her. And you know that artificial sweeteners do things to your body that make you want to eat, right? You know that. So anyway, so this has gone on long enough. Enough, Sarah, okay? So this is it for the day. Much ado about nothing, but remember, if hunger is not the problem, then eating is not the solution. So as we know, there's a lot of mental parts that go with our overeating. Tons and tons of overeating. Just think of the pounds that you may have gained and lost and gained and lost and gained again that have to do with your emotions and not your hunger. So this is the channel that wants to tap into that and make you break free of eating because of what's bothering your emotions, right? So have a wonderful day. This has been Sarah. Tune in again and comment below. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye for now.